Oh, hate it here. I hate it here. Every single big game, I have to be here to you guys, moaning and bitching about this team because they do the same exact thing every single big game. Inter 1, Arsenal 3. Arsenal came to the San Siro and made up for last year's result. We can't say nothing this time round, and I hate it even more when we lose to these teams. Of course, you know what I mean. The Premier League teams, the English teams, especially for me. I live here in the UK, in England, so I'm gonna hear about it more and more. Last time against Liverpool, this time against Arsenal, and I know a lot of Arsenal guys. I was close. I was supposed to actually go out like last year. If you guys remember my post-match reaction from last year, I went to the pub last year with some of my friends to watch this game, and we celebrated. This time round, we were supposed to go, and then one of my friends dropped out, and we were like, "Yeah, just leave it. We'll just watch it from home." Good, good, because today I would have been embarrassed out there. I would have felt, I would have felt sad, and I would have felt embarrassed in front of all those, because it would have been full of Arsenal fans at the pub. So I'm glad I didn't go out to witness this in front of other people. But yeah, man, we'll get into it. It's but the big headline or the big summary of the game is typical big game Inter. We create chances, we play pretty well, and then we gifted Arsenal chances and goals. Jan Sommer, as usual, doesn't pretty much save anything apart from I think one shot that he saved. We managed to revive, similar to how we revived Liverpool. Not that Arsenal need reviving, but certain players within Arsenal, like Gyökeres, was probably the biggest flop in European football this season. Victor Gyökeres, we managed to revive him, gave him a goal. Gabriel Jesus has been coming back from a big injury. We gave him a couple of goals now, so get your confidence back up. Lewis Skelly, yeah, you can get your confidence back up now that Calafiori's out. You can get a nice little performance under your belt. And yeah, Arsenal now going to cruise to basically first place in the Champions League. Domination, absolute domination from Arsenal in the Champions League this year. And yeah, you can see why today. I mean, I don't think they dominated today at the San Siro, at the Meazza, especially like if we look at the possession. We were there. XG almost double from Arsenal. But if you look at the actual XG where it's created, like we knew, there's nothing new. Set play XG 0.78. Open play XG, very similar. Inter had their chances as well, for sure. We were wasteful as usual. But this is where Arsenal are just so threatening the best team in Europe on set pieces. We talked about, it's not like I was a genius mentioning it in the pre-match. I think if you watched any games of Arsenal, not just this season, but last two seasons, you will know set piece. They are set piece FC even more than Inter. And they had 7 corners, we had 4, and they made them, well, one of them count. And that's the game. Once again. Another, of course, before I get into your comments, thank you for being here, 131 people. Please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Before I get into your comments, one last summary. The big game players in theory, what should be Barella, Lautaro, Thuram. Sommer, is he a big player anymore now? Not turning up. Even Zielinski today, not really. Probably his worst game this season. Not really turning up. Christian Chivu, and I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments, why the hell did you start Acerbi? So that's the big summary. Of course, as usual, I've got some screenshots to go through with you to analyze the game, the goals, and etc. So as I said, if you are here, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're here to suffer together, or if you're an Arsenal fan, you're here to laugh at me. It is what it is. It is what it is. Last year we laughed at Arsenal. This time we have to take the L. We have to hold it. Anyway, let me get into your comments. Thank you for the people that were here already before the stream started. Otis Mo, channel member, thank you for being here. We were wasteful. They were clinical. What's new? Exactly. Marvel Lawson, channel member as well. Thank you. Dumfries was missing in the right with his pace. We could have been deadly. Acerbi 0. Barella needs to stand on the bench for a moment. Yeah. Conversations need to be had. Some of these big guys. I mean, we're having these conversations. It's nothing new. We're having these conversations all seasons about guys like Barella, Lautaro more in the big games, Thuram. As I said, Acerbi, why the hell is he starting today? I have no idea. Luis Enrique, he was okay, But again, with Luis Enrique, it's like he gets into such good positions. He has such little nice potential moments like that moment where he, showed his pace, got into goal and shot, but with no confidence. He just has like no confidence in himself. I don't know what it is with Luis Enrique. You're playing now, how many games? 8, 9 games in a row he's been playing. And you can see the potential in him. You can see it. Like he's so clean on the ball, so confident in terms of just being on the ball. Like as soon as he receives it, he's confident. Like he's like a midfielder on that right. But as soon as he needs to do something that's decisive, whether that's dribbling past the player, which he doesn't even try to do ever, or a cross or a shot, or get into the box as well. Like sometimes we would whip balls into that far post. We know that Dumfries would have been there. This guy is not there. Okay, that's not part of his game. But what should be part of his game is those other things. It's like, it's so frustrating watch Luis Enrique. So frustrating because you can see there's clearly a player there. You can see why Inter signed him, but like he just can't seem to be getting into that zone, into that, killer instinct mode, or like Dumfries does with his limited, technical ability, limited footballing IQ, but he knows that, how to use that athleticism of his and score goals or be a threat in the box or in the final third. Luis Enrique, for some reason, is just not able to do it at the moment, and it's so frustrating. But yeah, let me continue. Of course, Matija Jovic, another channel member, and of course, mod of the channel. Another big team, another L for Inter. That Champions League final really killed the mentality of this group, and it really does seem like it. Some of these guys mentally, but also physically, like especially against these Premier League teams, they like Barella out there at times when he goes shoulder to shoulder with some of these guys. He looks like a little boy. Like obviously Barella is much smaller than some of these guys, but in the past, a younger Barella, I've seen a young Barella go into shoulder to shoulder with Frank Kessie. Frank Kessie, who Milan fans call Frank the Tank for a reason. And I remember Barella going into a shoulder to shoulder with him and just muscling him, getting the ball back. And that was, of course, a young, fresh Barella. This Barella is going into shoulder to shoulders with Lewis Skelly, who I think is the same height as him, or maybe 1 inch taller than him, and getting completely bodied, or any of the midfielders. He looks like a little boy out there sometimes in the moments. Lautaro in these big games as well, completely bullied as usual, completely nullified, apart from nice couple of passes here and there. Thuram, he tried a few times, at least with Mosquera. He had the better of him a few times here and there. But again, as usual, his shooting, his like has no decisiveness when he shoots on goal. There's no, again, killer instinct or just clinical edge to him. You just know with Thuram, he's gonna try because he's got a shooting opportunity, so he's gonna try, but he's not shooting with like purpose. He's not shooting with intent. So like, I'm gonna shoot to aim into that corner with precision and power. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm in a shooting position. I'm just shooting it. Whatever happens, happens. Let the Lord decide what happens with this shot. The only saving grace today was Petar Sucic, and then Pio when he came on, as Mighty Mouse says. Those two were the only shining lights today. Unfortunately, everyone else not up to the standard physically, mentally, even technically at times. Just not up to par. Again, we created chances. We didn't look that bad. The scoreline is probably a little bit harsh, but we're at home. We're the team at home. And it felt like Arsenal were the ones that took control, put pressure on us, pinned us back for most of the game. And especially at the end, when we were tired, they had so much space in behind to run into. They could have punished us. Thank you, M6 Zeki, for the donation once again. As usual, always supporting the channel. Appreciate you, brother, and the channel member. Sick and tired of the statue in goal, hating Thuram. I get it, yeah, 100%. Let me just show you the screenshot of the save that Zoma tried to make on Gyökeres. I was watching it on CBS, and the commentator said, he completely misjudged it. It looked like Zoma was expecting a shot on the ground, maybe because he went down very low, and he got a hand to it. But as usual with Zoma this season, the hand is either not strong enough, too flimsy, butterfingers like Yildiz, Adzic, those Juve goals he conceded, and also a little bit too slow, just that half a second too slow, split second. But as a professional goalkeeper at this level, half a second, split second, you're dead. You are finito. Christian Potato wants Thuram out for his Arnautovic level of finishing, Barella for his baby antics, and half-hearted defending, Frattesi for actually being more useful than Gags, Zoma, Handa. Yeah, I agree to some extent, not wanting them out, but they're just, this can't run, man. This can't run. These guys can't be performing at this level if they want to win things again at Inter. I only care about Belindo League. Yeah, 100% still agree. That is the focus. You guys know me. You guys, if you saw my pre-match preview, my focus is fully on Serie A. But the problem is to have that full focus, to have that extra energy for Serie A. It was very, very important for Inter today to try to finish, to get a draw today. You didn't even hear me talking about winning today against Arsenal. I was talking about trying to get a draw. Then to go to Dortmund, who lost today, by the way, to bloody Tottenham Hotspur, who are struggling so badly in the Premier League this year. I think they're like in the second half, in the bottom half of the table, if I remember correctly. And they managed to win against Dortmund today at home. So for us, it will be difficult because we're going to the Signal Iduna Stadium with the yellow wall there. Won't be easy, but I was hoping for at least a draw, so you get to 13 points, and then 16 points, you still might be able to sneak into the top 8. But now, in this situation, unfortunately, it's pretty much impossible. I don't think, even if you win against Dortmund and you get to 15, I don't think 15 gets you in, unless there's some shock results going on. Because actually today, there were some shock results. Oh, actually, in the end, the Napoli ended up drawing. But again, they're still... they might still struggle to bottle the top 24 as much as Conte probably wants to do it. But yeah, Bodo Glimt beat Man City, so massive shock result there that keeps the point tally potentially low in this top 8. Olympiacos beat Leverkusen. That's not too much of a shock. But Sporting Lisbon beat PSG. That's a shock as well. Sporting move into the top 8 and keep PSG at 13. So something like this happening next week could actually end up helping Inter a little bit if there's some shock results again next. But yeah, it's still looking very, very difficult that even with 15 points, Inter can qualify in the top 8, because that means Inter are... Well, we already know we're guaranteed to be in the top 24, so we're qualified to the next round, but it means that we have to play those extra 2 playoff games. And the CBS commentator was actually talking about it. If Inter go to the playoffs, one of the playoff games is, I think he said 3 days after or 3 days before the Juve game in the Serie A. So you already know what that means, losing energies, mental, physical energies before or after that Juve game. That is not it. That is not it. Make sure you check out Inter Worldwide and Anthony. He will be doing his post-match review as soon as I finish here. I don't think I will be on for too long. Yeah, I don't think there's actually too much to discuss today, to be honest. It's the usual crap with Inter in big games. But of course, we'll go through some of the screenshots I've taken of the goals that we conceded. But yeah, as Anthony says, nowhere near the level. Again, we weren't, when you watch the game objectively, Inter weren't that far. We created lots of chances as well. But when you watch it, you can see Arsenal were managing the game. They were really pinning Inter down at moments. Yes, we sometimes could have punished them a bit more. Definitely, if we were more clinical, the game could have looked different. But you could see that Arsenal, they didn't even start. Declan Rice, they had, Gabriel didn't start as well. Martinelli didn't start, which is a 50-50 between him and Trossard. But, again, they were kind of managing their energies and rotations. And thank you, Mattia, for reminding the people to like and subscribe. Thank you, Eduardo, as always, for that. For the donation, as always. Really, really appreciate you, brother, your support. And with that, we are 9th in this big Champions League table. We drop out of the top 8, which is the first target. And Kanji did say Scudetto is the target, but he also did say top 8 is the target, and so did Chivu. We know top 8 is super important for the money, for and most importantly for missing out those 2 playoff games that you have to play. Yeah, stuck with Luis Enrique until Dumfries comes back. Of course, we want Dumfries back, but of course, we need the correct Dumfries back, not the Dumfries that we saw at the beginning of this season. Kirby in the house as well, the legend that always streams the games in our Discord chat. Thank you as always, Kirby. I really appreciate you, brother. If you defend Luis Enrique, then you're a fool of a took. I hope this wakes up Beppe and Auxilio. You know the answer to that, Kirby. You know the answer to that. That is not going to wake up Beppe and Auxilio. But yeah, it's. I see a lot of people defending Luis Enrique, but ultimately, I'm just not seeing the development in him. It just continues to be the same 6 out of 10 games where I'm not seeing the development or the willingness from him to really try to nail down a spot in this first team. But we can't say today there was no mistake from Luis Enrique defensively. He was solid defensively, like in terms of 1v1 and open play, or just in terms of everything apart from this. So he was actually kind of at fault for the first goal. So this is Arsenal's first goal. Again, as I mentioned, Arsenal pinning down Inter. Look how many men they have in and around Inter's box, or in Inter's box. In Inter's box, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 1 just outside the box. 7 players. That is called pinning down. And that was the opening few minutes. In the first 10 minutes. Lucky how this goal came about, because there was a shot from Timber that deflected off Di-Marco, very unfortunately, bounced in towards Gabriel Jesus, who, with great poaching instincts, gets his goal. But Luis Enrique there kept everyone onside. Acerbi obviously asking for the offside there because he thinks that Luis Enrique kept the line with everyone else. But no, Luis Enrique kind of fell asleep there and kept Gabriel Jesus onside. That was probably the only mistake in terms of Luis Enrique defensively. But did he do anything noteworthy apart from a few nice runs and passes? Not really. Not really. Eduardo says, I placed this on the players. Chivu tried. I placed blame on Chivu for starting Acerbi. I think today, Christian Chivu embarrassed Acerbi in front of the footballing world. Christian Chivu embarrassed Acerbi. This is the worst possible game that Christian Chivu could have started Acerbi. And you can start Acerbi this weekend against Pisa, no problem. You can start him against pretty much any Serie A team apart from the big teams probably. But because of the way that Chivu wants to play against the front 3 of Gabi Jesus, Trossard, and Saka with a high line, Christian Chivu today embarrassed Francesco Acerbi in front of the whole world. We saw Acerbi falling over, struggling for his life, barely winning any duels. The amount of times he slipped over and looked like Bambi on ice. Couldn't hold Gabi Jesus, like in terms of the physical duels. Normally, I think, we saw Acerbi. Usually he's able to hold on to, like, he can cope with guys like Haaland, Osimhen, talking about big strikers, Harry Kane. But now at the age of 37, he can't do it. Like even Gabi Jesus, who's not, he's coming back from big injuries, not even in big form. He struggles so badly. So Eduardo, I blame Chivu for that decision there. But then, yeah, what else? What more could Chivu really do outside of that? He, you could also blame him for Zoma. The fact that Zoma continues playing. I know that Pep Martinez only come back from injury for this game. He's just returned to the squad now. But again, how long is Christian Chivu going to ignore the continuous mistakes and lack of reflexes and top-level goalkeeping now that Zoma is offering, and from set pieces as well? The set piece defending, of course, that's on Chivu as well. He talked about how our zonal marking is the perfect or the best way to defend against Arsenal, and the fact that I think the first or the second corner Arsenal had and they scored, that's also on Chivu, Eduardo. I mean, he's the one who bigged up the zonal defending. So if you're bigging it up, then you come out of this game by not conceding a corner. And you saw the weakness that we all know the weakness that we've kind of had this season at this moment. We conceded against Atletico. We've kind of looked weak on corners and set pieces all season. And once again, we concede another one when you know that this is Arsenal's biggest strength as well. Very unusual tactic there where you saw Arsenal's players, they were all actually on the far, like towards our screen, on the bottom half of our screen. All the players were kind of standing there in this kind of tactic. But if you watch Arsenal in the Premier League, you know that's pretty normal for them. But if you don't watch Arsenal, that's actually quite unique as to what they do. They have a specific set piece coach that creates these patterns or these styles of corners. And yeah, here Saka whips it to the far post. Trossard completely unmarked. Trossard, by the way, probably one of the, if not the smallest player on their team, completely unmarked on the far post. Keeps it just about in on the line. And by the way, Barella again there. I know this one I don't blame really Barella because he tried his best to just get his head there. But again, it will be one of those images of Barella similar to William Pacho, and what happened against Napoli against Noah Lang, trying to keep it in, but not quite getting there. They did get lucky here as well, Arsenal, to be fair. Similar to the first goal where it came off a deflection. If you watch the replay, the Trossard header actually is going straight. So it goes over Zoma, of course, because he's a tiny goalkeeper, can't get his hand to it. Hits the crossbar. So the interplay is underneath the crossbar. They're following the trajectory and they lose Gabi Jesus. They leave him unmarked, which is obviously embarrassing that a guy is unmarked in our 6-yard box from a corner. But it's because they're following the trajectory of the ball and the ball hits the crossbar slightly. So then it goes to Gabi Jesus, who just has to head it in from 0.5 meters out. But again, the defending all around, atrocious, embarrassing, especially when you know it's Arsenal's biggest strength. Arsenal's biggest strength. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what Chivu needs to do. I mean, all the players and everyone has praised Chivu's work psychologically, but clearly, we needed exorcism to get these guys mentally over the line in these big games. It just seems like we can't do it in these big games. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't understand the continuous use of Jan Sommer. I suppose they did more than 10 minutes. Then Thuram did the whole 90, bro. I mean, I can see a lot of people focusing on Thuram for some reason. Lautaro, literally the first 10 minutes of Lautaro, are like Hall of Fame worthy, but as in ass Hall of Fame worthy. Those first 10 minutes of Lautaro, I think he had 2 or 3 touches in the first 10 minutes, and every single one of those touches went straight back to Arsenal. Literally, the first moment of Lautaro in the game, Inter had a counter-attack, balls passing to Lautaro, hits him on the back heel. And as soon as that happened, I knew not shocked, because of course we know big game Lautaro over this season specifically as well, but in general over the last few years. But in the Champions League, at least we got to give him credit. He has been turning up. But this season, as soon as that happened, it was yeah, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Yep, I know that. That's big game Lautaro. That's it. That's his game is done, finished. And then there was a moment afterwards, has a touch, goes back to Arsenal. Then there was, I think his third touch was he tried to control it, then tried to win a foul, didn't win the foul, went back to Arsenal. Then he had some good moments up until since that first 10 minutes until the half time. Then he kind of picked it up a little bit. He had a couple of nice passes and touches here and there. Lautaro picked it back up. But again, as we always talk about with Lautaro, because he has no pace, in his physicality is usually good, but when he comes against proper athletic beasts, like someone like Saliba, Timber, even Mosquera today, when he comes up against these types of players, then even his physicality, because he's short, stumpy, usually quite good at holding up the ball against average Serie A players, but against these types of guys, that's nullified. That lack of X factor to be able to create anything for himself, it just comes completely, it just exposes him completely in these types of game. And yeah, The only shot that he had to they should be showing a different shot here, because he did try to have a shot inside the box where it was a volley that he completely fluffed. But I can see a lot of people focusing a lot on Thuram because his shots today, Thuram, I agree. And I agree, if I had to rate them both today, it would be maybe 4 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10 max for Lautaro, and 4.55 max for Thuram. Like, both of them absolute flops today. So I agree. But to me, those first 10 minutes of Lautaro were infuriating, and we also went down because of that, because the ball kept again to Lautaro and it came straight back, and then we just kept getting pinned again and again and again. It was. It's not about the 3 goals that we conceded, Eduardo. The whole game, like, as soon as like any long ball was lumped up towards Jesus or any of the players on Acerbi, or especially in the second half. Oh my God, in the second half, it was like I just felt sorry for Acerbi. Like, every time there was a ball lumped in behind and he had to chase it, when Gyökeres came on as well, it was just like, oh man, I feel so sorry that this guy has to defend 50, 60 yards behind him. And that is just, you can't have Acerbi doing that, Eduardo. That is poor choice from Chivu to have Acerbi doing that at this age. I mean, even peak Acerbi, that's not the style of defending he wants to be doing. But now at age of 37, having to do that style of defending, he can't cope. And it was at points really almost, I felt so sorry for Acerbi. Alexander says, our core can't win big games. They're gone mentally, can't rise up to the occasion and beat a team that is better than them. They like Grinta when it matters most. They lack Grinta, but most importantly, in these big games, what we've seen is that we lack that cutting edge or that clinical edge, and that a lot of it falls onto our strikers. Like, they are the guys that should be scoring for us. Yeah, we've got bigger fish to fry. All right, but then we need win for confidence in general in a big game. This would have been a massive win for confidence boost in general. Okay, finally we can win a big game. But also, Forza Inter, the big picture again is about finishing in the top 8, because it's literally pointless. It's pointless because we're going to have to play those extra games. It's more important. Today's win, I could even say, is almost as more important than winning against Pisa, because having those two less games in what would be February when we play these playoff games. Let me see what the Champions League fixtures are. Having that week or 2 weeks of rest in between, as in like 1 week, having to play 1 game a week at that point in the future in February when it's crunch time, is even, of course, you can never give up on the points against Pisa at the weekend or Friday actually. But it doesn't show the knockout fixture. But yeah, whenever it is, it's you can say we got bigger fish to fry. But today, getting a draw was really important to at least keep the hope that we can get into the top 8, man. Clearly Chivu does not rate De Vrij. He's completely out of the rotations. He's just getting charity minutes like he did those last few minutes the other day. Maybe he could have been a little bit better in this type of game, but again, this is not this style of defending in general. Acerbi and De Vrij, they're not made for this style of defending. Even under Inzaghi wanted to start adopting a higher line, and again, he wasn't given the players to do it. So again, this is also falls on management. Nick Knox is so annoyed. Now we're probably going to have to play more games because we won't make top 8. Exactly. First goal, Luis Enrique keeping the player on side, and second again, Barella, Sommer trying to punch it out. And yeah, of course, Sommer as well. The problem with Sommer is on set pieces, he has no aura, no presence. He can't manage anything. Even if a corner cross is crossed into his 6-yard box, he's not going to come out and claim it. He's just so shaky. And of course, that was never his strength, even when a peak Jan Sommer, because he's a tiny goalkeeper for a goalkeeper standard. 6 foot is a small goalkeeper. But David Raya is actually the same height as Jan Sommer, but he is fantastic in the air when it comes to those types of things. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how. I mean, with that kind of with Bisek, we know that he has his bozo moments as well. But in this type of game, like we mentioned in the pre-match, Bisek had literally his one of his best ever games in an Inter shirt against Arsenal on the left hand side as well. In a game where you're going to try defend, because we did try to press. There was, of course, as I said, many moments where Arsenal pinned us back and we defended a little bit deep, but we were. Look at this screenshot took from the 7th minute or 8th minute, but a lot throughout the game we were trying to play the usual game that we have been under Chivu, pressing high, defensive line high. So I have no idea, unless there was some sort of injury to Bisek that we don't know about, why he wouldn't go with the Bastoni Kanji Bisek back three to defend big spaces, to press up, to press this Arsenal team. I have no idea. Really confused by Chivu. And actually, I did want to load up this little meme just from Philip's tweet here. Of course, ignore his stupid "I am Kiwao" hashtag. That was the same, meme hashtag that was around when Inzaghi used to lose one game. But 0 big games won, 0 players improved, 0 trophies, unwatchable football. But I saved it for this particular image of the golden toilet. But yeah, not that I'm not blaming Kivu, but just a little, little comedy moments because it made me laugh. Let me get back to some of your comments and then I'll get back to finishing up with the screenshots and then I can leave the floor to Inter Worldwide. Yeah, so the fall of Barella. I'm actually thinking of doing a video on Barella. I've been looking at some minute played stats, like in terms of his usage and workload compared to top midfielders around of Europe, plus his development of the statistics over the years, like how his numbers are looking in terms of shooting and threat and passing, whatever. It's something I want to do for myself as well, to see like is it just on the eye, the fall off of Barella, or there's actual like statistical reasoning behind it? Like, can we see it statistically as well? And is there the minutes played, like the whole story behind it, what we've been saying that he's burnt out? So I'm looking to do it's a complicated video to do in terms of the research I need to do for it, but it's something that I feel like we as an Inter fan base probably want to get an understanding of. We need a star midfielder. Alexander McDonald says in the summer to give us another option. Then Barella. I think, well, as I said, one of the shining stars of today, I think Petar Sucic reminded us. I think since his first few months at Inter, then he's had a bit of a lull period recently. I think today he reminded us, and hopefully not too many Premier League scouts were watching today, that this could be also a potential star midfielder for us moving forward. He needs to develop some part of his games, like the physicality, the tactical side, etc., etc. But look at this. Whew, 11 out of 14. He was involved in 14 duels. Like, he was everywhere today. In the end, you could see, like, towards the end, he got tired and his legs kind of gave out. But big, he was spreading the ball left to right. He was running up and down, lots of counterattacks, lots of defensive contributions, made a lot of opportunities, got and scored an amazing goal. I mean, let me give a little shine to Petar Sucic's banger. Initially, the opportunity comes to Ram on the counterattack. He shoots, gets blocked. Then the ball then Barella tries to have a shot, gets blocked. The ball ends up to Sucic, who hits it first time, past Zubimendi, past David Raya. But the placement and more the power than the placement, really, with the side foot. He really managed to get a good power with it with the side foot, because it wasn't like right in the corner. Very good finish and very well deserved goal, and definitely easy. Usually I wait till the end of the game to discuss the man of the match, but there's no discussion, I think, today who the man of the match is. It is Petar Sucic. And as I've been saying on my match reactions recently, with Sucic, I think Chivu should just continue playing him. Mkhitaryan is leaving us at the end of the season. His contract is expiring at the end of the season. Yes, he's still important tactically, experience-wise, all of that. Bring him on as a sub. Last 20, 30 minutes, he's always useful, Mkhitaryan. Like against Napoli, he changed the game. But you need to give Petar Sucic the same game time that Luis Enrique is getting, in terms of getting him accustomed to this team, getting used to this team, learning Serie A, learning how to play properly, learning how to use his body, learning how to duel, iron his game out, give him 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Like, we see how Zielinski now picked up his form after he getting, playing regularly is super important for players. So hopefully we do see, I want to see Suchic's game time being managed better. And I was saying that before today's game. I'm a big, big believer in Petar Sucic, and hopefully today's game changes Chivu's idea, because his legs as well, Petar Sucic gives us, because the one thing people get wrong about Mkhitaryan is because he's old, they think he's slow, but actually Mkhitaryan is the one that adds legs in Inter's midfield. It's very paradoxical because he's the oldest midfielder, and he looks old because of his, his penis-looking hairline, and generally, he just looks old sometimes. But actually, the power he has in his legs, even at his age, the transitional ability of Mkhitaryan is actually the best in our midfield. It sounds weird to say, but Sucic can do that. Like the amount of time Sucic was able to drive the ball up the field 50, 60, 70 meters, ball at his feet with those long strides. He's the tallest midfielder we have. He's got those long strides that none of our other midfielders have. They can go from back to front in a different pace, not maybe quicker, but in a different way, where he can leave players behind him in a more powerful running style. So there's obviously things that he needs to iron out, Sucic, but Christian Chivu, please, please, please give the faith and playtime to Petar Sucic. No, the insulting the Lord gags is always necessary, Nick Snock. Sorry, it's always necessary. Looking like even Perisic is getting close. I can't soon enough. My eyes will bleed with Luis Enrique. Yeah. The funny thing is with Perisic is like we had him at Inter for so long, and he always seemed to be not really like playing on the right side. I've seen that for PSV, he does play on the right side, but for some reason at Inter, he always seemed to be preferring, even though he's ambidextrous, he always seems to prefer to cross with his left foot and shoot with his right, which happens on the left-hand side. For some reason, he can't do it the other way around as good. But at least he would add something different and something more direct now. I can't say he's going to add pace, because actually Luis Enrique is adding pace. We saw it a couple of times today, but at least he would add something a bit more concrete. That's what we need in that final third. Someone just concrete, someone like Perisic, who just comes in far post with a header, or trying to score, trying to create something, step over, cross it in, cause some havoc. That would be nice if we can make it happen. Yeah, Zeki, I agree. I don't think he's been dog shit, but yeah, just not to the level that we expect and need. Especially today, for sure. I can't even try to defend Barella. As much as I like him, I can't defend him today. The next time I see him, Luis Enrique stop in a good position, then pass backwards, I'm gonna crash out. That is the big problem with Luis Enrique, as I was saying. Like, he gets in good positions, good moments. He is actually, part of that fact that we get to those positions where he is in just outside their box, able to maybe create something, but then he just pussies out. That's the only way you can describe it. He just pussies out and wants to go back. Like, I wouldn't even mind if he lost the ball. If the stats said 6 dribbles attempted, 0 completed, I wouldn't mind it, because that means he's trying. Apparently, he completed 2 out of 2 today. I remember 1, but I don't remember what the second one is. But it's just very, 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 very safe, very, very safe football, Luis Enrique. It is super frustrating to watch. Yeah, of course, Marotta saying there's no urgency to intervene. Chivu needs some help, man. Chivu needs some help. He needs to give him some options. He needs to give him some athleticism in there. You guys are going to hand the Serie A title with this Champions League level of effort you're putting in. You mean we're putting in too much effort, or we're not putting in that much effort? Lab Gorilla, let me know. Milan fan, Lab Gorilla. Inter can't defend set pieces anymore. I love Barella's on my way. Time to drop them. Yeah, 100%. Captain goes to it again. Lauti just wants the Pisa man. I mean, I hope, and I'll be happy if Lautaro just returns to scoring against Pisa. But then we know he always usually he also usually goes through phases. Now he's going to go through maybe his non-scoring phase. This game we see Gab in the house, Mr. Married Man, freshly married man. Yeah, of course. You see the difference in a game like this in terms of the squad building. I mean, let me show you the example of what Gab is talking about. They were able to bring on Ben White, who they signed from Brighton for about 25 million, if I remember, a few years back. Declan Rice, 100 million from West Ham. Gabriel, what was he, 25, 30 million a few years back. Gyökeres, 65 million. Martinelli is actually one of the few bargains they managed to get. But that was, they managed to bring off the bench, what's that, about 150 million, 170, 80 million worth of talent off the bench, whereas we brought 30, 3, 25, 55, 70, about 70 million. So they were able to bring on another 100 million, of course, on top of the super expensive starting 11 that they have. But yeah, that is the level. But again, usually, we talk about it today, but that, is not much different to last season. That was the same case last season when we beat them. And yeah, YouTube is getting very aggressive with the adverts these days, Lab Gorilla, even in live streams. But there are ways of getting YouTube Premium. I do recommend YouTube Premium, but there's ways of getting it for cheaper. If you want to know, do DM me on Instagram. There are some ways around of getting YouTube Premium for cheaper, and it is life-changing because you can just watch YouTube with no adverts. I was hoping the plan was to bring in B6 and I would move the line up. Yeah, that was the other thing as well. I expected, especially that second hour, I was saying that left in open space, Acerbi, I thought Chivu would see, like, bro, we need to bring someone else on. Thank you to Martin D6878 for becoming a channel member. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. As you can see, guys, when there's a lot of comments in these post-match live streams, I try to show as many comments as I can, but what I do is, always try to prioritize the channel member comments first. So thank you, Martin, for joining. Yeah, Seamus, the league is number one priority. Martin D says, it might sound reactionary, but we should consider selling our big guns Toro, Thuram, Barella this summer. I agree on Thuram. I think with Thuram is definitely something we need to look into to flip and get someone else. With Lautaro, Barella, I'm not sure. I do like to keep a core. I do want to still keep the core intact as long as they're in their peak years, at least. Like these two are 28 years old, Lautaro and Barella. Anthony's also going to be doing a video on Barella, so check it out. But yeah, let me end the video because I don't want to hog the live stream for too long, because Anthony also wants to go live. Let's go through some of these screenshots and goals that we scored. So yeah, you can see how Arsenal were pressing us for a lot of the game. 6 players into our half, very, very aggressive pressing, and it worked for most of the game. One thing with Zomer as well, if you've noticed, Zomer's also, his ball playing ability this season seems to have been taken down a notch, which was one of his best attributes. Wish we had what's from Arsenal. Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Oh, Ben White was 50 million. Jesus Christ, there you go. So there's about 200 million actually, 200 million of talent. 3 losses in a row in the UCL for the first time in our history. Jeez, okay. Maybe that Chivu with the golden toilet in his hand picture, I should have saved it for this moment, Zeki. Because there you go, Chivu. You broke a record now. You broke a record. 3 losses in a row in the first time in our history. Oh yeah, here is that moment we're talking about with Luis Enrique. Fantastic moment, showing his pace. Like, even the fact that none of the Arsenal players could catch up with him shows you like how quick this guy is. But as soon as he gets there, first of all, Lautaro just looked so off the pace. Like, he couldn't catch up with Luis Enrique, couldn't get into the box quick enough to give him an option. But Luis Enrique, you could tell he had, in his body language, he had no faith, no confidence. He just took the shot because it was like that was the only decent decision to make right there. So he just shoots, but it was completely sliced wide. But again, just, I've seen him score like for Marseille, when I was watching those Marseille games or his highlights in Marseille, he's got the ability to shoot on goal, but he's just, come on, Luis, man, come on. You've got it in you. He's definitely got the ability to shoot that across the goal and get that in. Here is that shot that I was talking about that for some reason Mob didn't register because I guess he fluffed it so badly, the volley Lautaro, that it didn't go. And then he tried to hit it again on the rebound, and then he lost it. Then Sucic again, another nice drive with the ball, then gets it out wide to DiMarco, shoots or kind of shoot cross towards. I didn't notice Marcus Thuram actually could have had a tap in there if David Raya didn't stop that shot cross. And then it went back to DiMarco, and then he tried to hit it again. I think it went near post, and then it went out for a corner. There was a shout for a penalty as well on Lautaro. It did look quite soft, but I saw the penalty that we got given against us against Liverpool, that was basically non-existent, super soft. If that was a penalty by UCL standards, this was also a penalty. But again, if we gave away this penalty, I would have been fuming because it was very soft. But Saliba does not hit the ball. He hits Lautaro's leg. Mosquera and Eze are right there as well. So I don't really get it. Why it wasn't really reviewed. So I was confused. What can you saying? But Acerbi played good, bro. You can't say that to me. My eyes were not deceiving me. What I saw, especially that second half when they were launching balls in behind. My man was struggling for his life. He was fighting. This match aged him by like 20 years just on his own. Here as well, this was actually if you Acerbi played good. My goodness, can you? This moment here, especially, was all Acerbi. He hesitated, headed it straight back to someone. I can't remember now who it was, and then it goes to Saka, and then Bastoni has to make this last-ditch tackle to bail him out. That was all Acerbi, that moment as well. That was an amazing moment by Bastoni. Bastoni was decent today, actually. Probably one of his better games recently, in my opinion, because he had that moment and he was trying to kind of start things up from the back. Not the dominating, marauding Bastoni that we know in terms of going forward, but I thought defensively, at least today, he looked a little bit more solid. DiMarco was good going forward. Struggled a couple of times against Xhaka, but we know that was going to happen. A couple of times Saka went past him or was able to get the cross in. We know defensively he's susceptible, but at least it wasn't one-way traffic. DiMarco was giving plenty back to Saka and Timber on that side. I think he was one of the better players. His good form continues. But yeah, going back to the Barella comments, low pass accuracy, low danger in the box. Apparently he won a few duels here, more than half of his duels, but not in the air, of course. That's not his thing. 3 recoveries. But yeah, it's very, very disappointing match for me from Barella. Zielinski as well. He kept things ticking along. Passing accuracy was good, but in terms of shielding the defense today or winning the ball back, I didn't really see much of that energy or much of that fight in Zielinski. If you're playing Regista CDM, you need to be showing a bit more of that. Allegri and Conte will push the gas to the limit now if they feel they have a real chance, as long as we're forced to place every third day. Yeah, let's just hope that Napoli need to continue in the Champions League. Of course, Milan won't, so that is going to be definitely a big talking point now moving ahead as we have to play those extra games. I like Chivu and he hopes to succeed, but his record against the top teams, he needs to get much better in dealing with stronger opposition. Being the smaller team is not enough. It isn't, but it still might land us to Scudetto, Black Blue legacy. But yeah, in terms of evaluating his job, evaluating how he's doing, is definitely a big improvement that he needs to make. But he can't come out on the pitch and teach Thuram and Lautaro how to shoot. They should be able to do that. It's time to start giving duties to Pep Martinez. Yeah, 100%, Nick. They need a centre-back. Also, it's time to cycle on these players out that keep Compton. I'm guessing you mean flopping or something, maybe, in small big games. Bro, we've been having this conversation all season. Like, when you mean this is a time we're having this conversation all year that it's not looking good for Barella. But yeah, you're right. Washed is a little bit too far. Maybe we're not having the washed conversation, but definitely Barella conversations I've been having on my channel. I've been having for a while. I'm not scared of calling out any of our big players. You come if you come on my channel, I'm not scared. Especially with Lautaro, he has fanboys where they come after you because he's the captain and he says Grinta and all that. Over the years, I've never been scared of calling out Lautaro. Now, the last year or so, I'm not scared of calling out Nicolo Barella. People might post some of his FB ref or those charts and things that he's always like first and second in chance created, XG, XA, XG, whatever you want to post. But my ball don't lie, eyes don't lie. I'm not scared of calling out the big so-called players, Barella, Bastoni, etc. Thuram. So, yeah, not good overall. Was there any more? Oh, again, as we talked about the shining light of Petar Sucic, the shining light of Pio Esposito. FOTMob for some reason has given him a 5.7, but he changed the game when he came on. He changed the game, way more threatening. I mean, completely more threatening than Lautaro, but even more than Thuram as well. 5 out of 7 passes, was dueling and beating Mosquera a few times. There should have been fouls on Pio Esposito from Mosquera. Poor refereeing, actually, overall today. Like, we know sometimes it feels like there's a lot of Prem bias with the refereeing. Poor refereeing, in my opinion. But yeah, Pio had this moment where he pinned Mosquera, turned him, and then got shot away. And it should have been the corner, actually, because it deflected off Mosquera through his legs. But yeah, good impact by Pio today. Then he had another shot as well that he didn't get on target. And yeah, I would say I was never a believer. Like when Thuram was going through his good form, even in his first season, people were saying like, "Oh, remove the 85 million release clause." Like, bro, 85 million. If you get 85 million, like you got to take it. This is a guy that we converted. He was an average winger turned into a good striker by Inzaghi. Continues to be a good striker under Chivu, but he's never going to be top level. Like his mentality, he's happy. He's always smiling. When he misses, he's like, "Oh yeah," like he's been brought up nicely. He's Thuram. His dad is one of the legends of football. Private schooling. Not saying anything. I'm not got anything against it, but he's not been through the struggle. He's not been through. He's like, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Like he's not got that dog in him. He's got some nice, definitely attributes. His pace most of the time, his hold up play is nice. Some of his touches are nice. His link up play, but his finishing, I've never been a fan of like his ball striking. But yeah, if a nice offer comes in the summer, definitely flip and try to create the next Marcus Thuram with someone else. I thought he did well in terms of 60th minute to take out Barella and Lautaro. I don't think that's too late, in my opinion. That's pretty good timing to make the substitution. Frattesi actually had he didn't do too much with them, but he had his one Frattesi chance that I feel like in the past, maybe last year, the season before, he would have taken, but today DiMarco whips it in. Thuram misses it and Frattesi comes in but completely skies it. It was a volley. It wasn't an easy chance on his left foot as well. But apart from that, Frattesi, what did he do? Let's see let's have that moment, guys. The usual Frattesi moments. How many passes did Frattesi complete in half an hour? He had half an hour, right? Let me see. 27 minutes he had. Drum roll, please. Drum roll. 6 out of 7 passes. I mean, that's still a very low amount of passes to complete in 27 minutes, but the accuracy at least is 86%, which is impressively high for Frattesi. But again, not much of an impact for Frattesi, so he's not even having the impact that he used to have as a substitute now. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, it is what it is. Decent performance, but ultimately big game letdown as usual. Not clinical enough. The mentality wasn't there. For Arsenal, who was the man of the match, I give it to. Yeah, I guess it has to be Gabi Jesus. I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a really standout player for Arsenal either. Like, Eberechi Eze is a 60, 70 million pound signing. Did he really stand out? No. Zubimendi as a 50, 60 million pound player, did he stand out? Not really, no. Even Saka, did he really stand out? No. Trossard, no. So, yeah. And we revived Gyökeres for them. Yeah, it is what it is. Make sure you tune in to Inter Worldwide now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and of course, keep a lookout for the Pisa preview. We're playing on Friday, early kickoff. So keep a lookout on the channel. Another game, another big game flop. Sick of it. We move on. We move. Ciao ragazzi. Forza Inter.